love. The word Advent itself means to arrive. And adventure is the act of arriving somewhere exciting and joyful. As you know, one of the wonderful teachings we have here at Unity is that we are spiritual beings having a human adventure. I like to use the word adventure. Some people say we're having a human experience, but that's not full enough. This really is an adventure. It's like a field trip. Life isn't a classroom. It's going out there and doing it and experiencing it, which is what we do at the retreats. We actually immerse ourselves for 4 days in doing this wonderful work of truth. So we're getting ready for the arrival of the full awareness of the power of the Christ's presence within us, which is what Christmas is all about, giving birth to the Christ mind, the Christ energy that we are. In our Unity philosophy, we aren't using the word Christ as synonymous with Jesus. Sometimes you'll hear Christ died on the cross. Christ didn't die on the cross. Jesus died on the cross. The person died on the cross, but Christ is the energy within that was never born and never will die. It's the fullness of who you are as a spiritual being. Christ is the divine essence of yourself that is the real you, is the real me. So Jesus was the first one to really demonstrate this on the planet in a way that we recognize as being one with God. So Jesus is not Jesus Christ. More precisely, he is Jesus the Christ, the one who demonstrated it, the way shower, as we call him in Unity. Remember, he said to us, you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. You are God's. You forgot. You forgot this is who you are. This is the truth of your being. When you see me doing these works, greater will you do. People had a really hard time with that one. They went, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do what you did? He said, I'm facilitating this. I'm not doing it. The power of God is moving through me. What you're seeing is God. You're not seeing me. He said, our Father in heaven. He didn't say, my Father. You sit back and watch. He said, no, this is our Creator, our Father, Mother, God. He was revealing that we all are children of God and that we are endowed with the same power that he had at the center of our being, not some being out there in the sky who may or may not answer our prayer depending on his mood that day. Or if I had the right combination of words to bring forth the good. I know sometimes when we first begin praying in Unity, we ask somebody to pray and, I couldn't do that. I don't have the words. Yes, you do. We all do. As Meister Eckhart said, if the only thing you said is thank you, God, that would be enough. So if anybody ever asks you to pray, just say thank you, God, and pass the potatoes. That's all you need to know. Jesus said, I thank you, God, that you hear me always. Thank you for this healing taking place. The problem, as Jesus saw it, was that we were just not aware of the truth. We weren't aware of who we are. We weren't aware that we are divine, not merely human. He said those who were healed or prospered or blessed in some way wasn't by him, it was through him as facilitator. He said, I didn't do this. Don't worship me. I didn't do this. I simply activated the energy that was already there. He always said to those who were healed, your faith makes you whole. The woman who was bleeding for 12 years, he said, daughter, your faith has made you whole. Go your way. You're the one, you call the faith. Even if it's that much, just a mustard seed size, that's all it takes. Just a willingness to be willing is all we need. He said, don't call me good. There's only one good, and that's God. Don't mistake the messenger, he said, for the message, which is the power of God at work in each and every one of us. Today's Advent theme is hope. Hope is the unshakable understanding that only good is coming into my life. No ifs, ands, or buts. We have an awareness inside of us as creations of God with the spiritual, powerful being that we are, that good is ours. The challenge has been seeing the good or releasing the good or finding this good outside of ourselves. The dictionary defines hope as desire accompanied by expectation of its fulfillment. Desire accompanied by the expectation that it will be fulfilled, that we will see it eventually in our lives. Desire is that which God is pushing forward from within. It feels uncomfortable sometimes, doesn't it? We have the desire for having this wonderful success or having healing or finding the right mate, and when it doesn't show up in the way that we would like it to, it feels uncomfortable. There actually can be painful sometimes to not have the good we're looking for. The other word for hope is faith. Faith in our unity teachings is the inner realization that the good we desire to see come into our lives is here now, regardless of what it appears to be on the outside, regardless of that we don't see it yet or feel it yet. It's here, right now. Hope or faith is the spiritual quality that we need first to have that Christ energy, that power of God come into our world for the physical or emotional healing that we've been looking for prosperity, for peace of mind, for freedom from anxiety and fear, or for whatever else that we've been desiring or needing in our lives to show up. Faith is knowing it's already here inside of me, even though I don't see it, I don't feel it, I can't touch it yet. As Jesus reminded us, ask believing, and you'll receive it. That's the two-part thing. Asking, getting clear, affirming, not begging. As I said in the beginning, we're not begging God for anything. We're simply getting clear and affirming, making firm that which we're looking for, what we're looking for to come forth in our lives, and believe it's possible. Why? Because I'm a child of God, that's all. That's all the proof you need. But I hear you say often, I've asked repeatedly. I really have asked without doubt, but I haven't seen it. What's going on? Why has it not shown up for me the way that I need it to? We wonder, where's the good in all? I've been doing all this spiritual work. I've been reading and studying, coming on Sunday mornings and getting up early and doing all this stuff, and I don't see it. Where in my life, what do I have to do? I mean, I think I'm doing everything I need to do, but evidently it's not enough because it's not showing up yet. There was a man around 6,000 years ago who wondered the same thing. His name was Naaman, and his story is found in 2 Kings in Scripture. Naaman was a military commander from Syria and a very valuable asset to the king of Syria. Isn't it amazing we're still talking about Syria today? 6,000 years later and still in the news. But Naaman had a skin condition. In the Bible, it was called leprosy, but leprosy was an umbrella term used for all skin problems, from acne to everything else. So we're not exactly sure what he had, but he had a problem with his skin. An Israelite slave girl tells Naaman's wife that the prophet Elisha in Samaria was really good at curing skin stuff. So Naaman goes to Samaria with around $60,000 worth of silver and about $500,000 worth of gold, and presents a letter from the king of Syria demanding from the king of Israel that Elisha heals Naaman. Well, evidently the king of Israel never heard the rumor that Elisha was good with skin, because he looked at him and says, I never heard of such a thing. I'm sorry. I think you got the wrong prophet. I don't know what to tell you. But Elisha hears what's going on with the king and has Naaman sent to him. When he arrives, Elisha tells the messenger to tell him, go wash yourself in the river Jordan 7 times, and when you come up after the 7th time, you'll be clean and whole and your skin will be perfect. Well, Naaman is livid. He is so upset by this information. He rants and he raves about how Elisha should have come to him personally. Why are you sending a messenger? Don't you know who I am? He should have come to me and raised his hand to his God and cured his condition very dramatically, preferably with a really large crowd of a big audience to witness it. At the very least, Naaman said, you should send me to a better river. The Jordan's just a stinky mud hole. I can't believe that you'd have me, a military commander of Syria, bathe in wet dirt. Who does this guy think I am? Well, he stomps away, and one of his servants comes up to him with a brilliant observation. He said, look, if the prophet had told you to do something extraordinary and grand, you would have done it, right? He said, how much easier is it then just to simply go wash yourself and be clean, sir? So Naaman thinks about it, he determines that the servant is right, and he goes to the river, washes himself 7 times, and comes out with skin like a baby, completely healed. Now, of course, he's thrilled, and he gives allegiance to the Israelite God as the one and only God, the only God powerful enough to do this work. So this whole story is done in one chapter in 2 Kings. It's a simple and powerful and effective story showing the power of God at work even for a Syrian, the enemy of the Jews. The writer is saying God's healing power is available universally for whoever taps into it. Doesn't matter who you are. If you believe it, it's there for you. Even cranky, egotistical, self-centered politicians. Whoever they may be. All children of God, however much we might forget that, and watching all their ravings and their rantings and twittering and all that good stuff. Every one of us a child of God. Remember that today. Metaphysically, in the Bible, every character is you. Every situation is you on some part of your journey. Syria represents your intellectual reasoning process. Naaman represents your limited ego, consciousness that believes everything that I get has to be negotiated, has to be bribed, has to be maneuvered somehow by sheer will or intellectual game playing. Naaman can't believe that the healing can come simply from taking a bath. There's got to be something more to it. This is insulting to my intelligence. He says, no, if I buy it, I can understand it. If I have a service that I'm willing to pay for, so give me the service and I'll give you the money. We in our Naaman consciousness can't believe that somehow God can heal me without this negotiation going on. Just by praying? How does that work? I don't believe it. No, I have to spend a lot of money to get truth or to get that MRI or that expensive treatment somehow, or go away to a really expensive spa and get really good service, and then I might believe it. There was a restaurant not too long ago in New York. It was actually in the New York Times. They got a really great deal on this really wonderful wine, and they thought, we love our customers, so we're going to pass on the savings to them. And nobody was buying it. Nobody was buying the wine because if a bottle of wine is that cheap, it can't be any good. So nobody was buying it, so they upped it 100% and they sold out. Now I believe it. There is an executive motivational speaker who charged hundreds of dollars for each executive to come hear him share the secret of success. Of course, the companies that paid for it wrote it off, or they just, it was really nothing for them. He became the speaker to hear. Everybody had to go to this guy. As the years went by, he became known as one of the greatest of our motivational speakers. As he gained in national prominence, he charged a lot more money for the workshops. The more he charged, the more people wanted to hear him. Oh my God, he's thousands of dollars, I got to go. Why? Well, he's charging that much, it must work. And when they came to the seminar, here's what they told him. You may want to write this down. I'm giving you $1,000 worth of information from this guy. He said, if you want to succeed beyond your wildest dreams, you've got to have, number one, a sense of mission, a sense of purpose, and number two, a passion for life. And then he would give examples, and that would be it. It's what you pay a love offering for here at Unity. It's the same stuff. We give a little more, actually. We get deeper into it. But this is the truth that he's sharing. Very simple. Have a goal, have a mission, get excited about it. That's too simple. There's got to be more to it. Our egos have a hard time believing that all we have to do is turn within to our hearts where our intuition is at work and listen. Listen to what we desire and then move forward with joy and gratitude knowing that it's coming forth. Now certainly God reveals steps. Spirit within us will reveal what I need to do, maybe get some information, maybe network, maybe meet with people, get deeper teachings on what it is that I'm looking to do. But God's love and joy cannot be purchased. It's here free, available for us to tap into. Or we want it to look prettier. We want it to look nicer. Anybody who is an artist or anybody who is creative at all knows that creation is not pretty. Who here has had a baby? Ken, have you really? Let's go. Love it. That was not pretty, I'm sure. But for those of you who had a baby, you know it took a long time, and the final hours were not great, that there was a lot of stuff, a lot of ick. But look what happened. Look what you gave birth to. It's the same with our creative nature. If there's such a thing called rehearsal anxiety. You get into a show and you're learning your part, and there are other people watching, and you just feel so horrible, and you feel, I can't act, I can't sing, I can't do anything. And then the more you do it, the more you find your way, and it's fine. Or you're learning a new part, you're learning a new piece, and you can't quite get the fingering on the piano, or you go, I can't play, I'm not good at this, I should just become a waiter. And then you do it over and over and over again, and you learn how to do it. That's part of the process of unfolding or good. They say it takes at least 10,000 hours to master anything. And then you go on to learn something new. So it's our outer interpretation of what seems to be not working at that moment that we need to let go of and say, Spirit within me, the creative energy of God within me is doing the work. I'm learning how to do this, and it's good. You know, my only prayer when I was graduating from ministerial school, the only thing I prayed for the Right and Perfect Church to go to was, God, it doesn't matter where I go, as long as there's a lot of water. My first church was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, in the middle of the desert. There is no water there. There's no water in New Mexico. It rained once. 7,000 feet above sea level. You iron your shirt, you spray it, you put the bottle down, you pick the iron up, it's already dry. I was chatting with some people from the opera. I was working out at the gym, and the guy playing Don Giovanni at the opera said, I don't have my notes. I don't have the high C to sing here. And they were there for a few weeks to acclimate themselves to the place. So I'm thinking, what's going on with my prayer for water? I'm in the middle of the desert. What is this about? Ask believing and you'll receive. Okay, so I'm in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the mountains. I did the asking, but I didn't really believe the second part. The first part I believed. I mean, I graduated from ministerial school. I was out there looking for a job, and I got hired by this place. So I knew that the Right and Perfect Church was ready. I just didn't believe that there was a place that had water, necessarily. I was really firm. God, I don't care where you send me. Always be careful about what you pray in that way. When I saw that Santa Fe was available, it was artistic, so I figured that would be a really great place to begin. And I'm grateful that I did. I had a chance to build a church that had 14 people into 125 before I left. Gave me some wonderful friends that are still my friends to this day. So there are blessings no matter what happens, no matter where you go. When Spirit is leading you somewhere like the muddy Jordan or the dusty desert, know that only good is going to come out of it. Just know that Spirit is at work there, and you're unfolding perfectly. And now, I got a lot of water. And so was New York City. I was on an island surrounded by water. So the water part is working. That's really wonderful. Naaman's servant was a good psychologist. He told him, look, you were willing to give the world and everything you had. You brought $500,000 worth of gold. You were willing to give everything you had for the healing, and now the healing is here for free. Take it. What's your problem? The problem is we keep thinking, what's the catch? Here's the good I want, and yet, what do I need to do for that? I'm not quite sure I want to do that. Or where's the fine print? We get worried about everything else except for the good that we're looking to unfold. We've been taught our whole lives there's no free lunch. You have to pay for your good. You have to earn your keep. Nothing comes cheap. Someone shared with me, a friend shared with me, that his mother growing up, when he was growing up, his mother taught him, never say yes, never accept anything until it's offered at least 3 times. Never accept the first time. You'll say, no, that's very nice of you, or I don't deserve that. I don't want to look greedy. And so his whole life he had a really hard time accepting anything offered to him. And he discovered that sometimes people didn't offer 3 times. They often didn't offer twice. So finally, Naaman got that his healing was waiting for him. No strings attached. He let go of his own ego-centered expectations, and he finally received what he wanted simply by going with the flow, going with the creative process that was laid out before him. His biggest challenge wasn't healing his skin condition, it was healing his attitude. It was healing his consciousness, his mindset, his belief that things had to be a certain way. So I invite you to take a look at your own life. If healing is an issue, if abundance is an issue, if finding the right mate is an issue, that probably isn't the issue. The issue is probably our attitude about it, the negativity we may be holding about it, or the lack of energy and excitement that we have surrounding this very thing that we're looking for. Naaman's real healing came from opening his mind and his heart to the possibility that the good was already there, to believe that God was available at that very moment. That said, this is yours for the taking. There's nothing you've got to do but say yes to it. A recent study done by a team of psychologists revealed that there are 5 common traits that characterize all around healthy and joyful people who are accepting of the good that life has to offer. See how many of these qualities you possess yourself. The first one is a positive self-image. These individuals embrace the gifts of God that they have, and they use them confidently, knowing, I deserve this. This is something that I deserve just because I'm here on the planet, just because I'm a child of God. Number 2 is personal discipline. These people have a dedication and a commitment to their lives and to their goals. And they move forward using the intuitive understanding within their heart that says, this is the right way to go, this is not the right way to go. They follow their heart to completion. Number 3 is optimism. A positive outlook in life is imperative for seeing the desired good that you'd like to have. Optimistic people, it's been proven, are healthier than pessimistic people. That's scientific knowledge that we've got now. Number 4, these people are relationship-oriented. Those who nurture and value relationships with loved ones and friends are the healthiest people and the happiest people. And the most important trait to a joyful, successful, and healthy life they found was number 5, which is faith. People with an active spiritual life have been found to have less suicides than others, to be less likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, be less likely to divorce, and to be more than twice as happy as those who do not have a spiritual foundation in their lives. One of the most interesting aspects the survey had was that people who had faith that God was at work in their lives had a much healthier body than those who didn't. It's been proven those who attend church regularly, that those who attend church regularly attending church, all the time, regularly, are healthier than those who don't. Coming here is good for your body. It's good for your health, good for your mind. Scientists are doing research into the effects of prayer for those who are in ill health. I'm telling you, all it takes is working for a little while in Silent Unity. I worked there for 3 years, answering the phones 8 hours a day. This is the most faith-building thing I've ever done. To have people call and say, the doctor said there was no hope, and now I'm absolutely fine. And now my 5-year-old daughter is out of a coma and thriving, and they don't know what to make of it. They've discovered that the more faith-filled a person is, the more likely it would be that they would heal. Apparently, the area of the brain that is involved with prayer and worship is the same area that's involved with healing. So science is proving what the Silent Unity Prayer Ministry has known for over 125 years now. That those who have faith in the power of God within, those who have faith in the prayers of a faith-filled person, even if we don't have faith ourselves at that moment, works. That's why we have prayer chaplains here. What our prayer chaplains do, please stand. If you're here, please stand for a moment. They're here for you. She's here for you. Judy is here for you today. She's here. She'll be available to pray. Are you praying afterwards? Yeah. Okay. Judy will be available to pray one-on-one with you afterwards. If you came in with anything that you would like to share, if you're having a difficult time knowing this for yourself, where two or more are gathered, there's the power of God exponentially, powerfully at work. That's why we do prayer. That's why prayer is the number one activity of unity. It's the first and most important thing that we teach here. Naaman was ready to do anything to find healing except have faith in God. We are willing to do anything to find our peace, to find our healing, to find our abundance, to find joy, to find all the good we're looking for, except trust God within to bring it forth in our lives. The first thing we have to do is to realize if all the good is going to come into fruition that we're looking for, is to know that God within you has desired it first. We couldn't have the desire unless it was holy, unless it was built into us before we got here. Emily Cady in Lessons in Truth said, desire is God tapping on the door of our subconscious over and over and over again. We keep forgetting, though, that zeal is one of the 12 powers we have in unity to do this. So we've got to feel zeal, we've got to get excited, we've got to have passion if our good is going to move forward. Now, this is probably one of the most loving group of people I've ever seen here at Unity of Bellevue. This is such a loving, wonderful community. But the energy level can be bumped up a little bit, I think. I think we can get a little more excited about the good. Now, I know people keep saying it's a Scandinavian thing here, or it's the weather, or blah, 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 blah. There's always something, well, it's just Seattle freeze. It's just the way we are. No, it is not. You are not that way. You're a child of God, and you have the power and zeal within you to get excited about the life that you have. Take more vitamin D. Do what you go on a treadmill. Pretend there's sun. Do what you need to do. Anything outside of yourself we're blaming is only blaming something outside of ourselves. God is more powerful than a cloud or rain that keeps happening 355 days a year. So what? So what? Sing in the rain. Be Gene Kelly and splash in puddles. Find the joy. Get excited about the good that's coming forth. Because if you're not excited, who's going to be excited for you? I got to get excited about my own good now, and that will bring, like a magnet, that which I'm looking for in my life. The desire you had came from God first. Again, since God wants it for us and desires through us this good, why do we think that God's going to screw it up? We keep thinking, I have to take control of it. I know how to come with me, God, and we'll do it over here. And God's saying, I'm going to wait for you to know that I have it all done. I've got this in hand. Listen to me. Go in the river. I don't care if you think it's a stinky river. Go in there 7 times. Do what I'm telling you to do now. Okay, fine. The ego thinks it knows everything. It thinks it knows how to do it better than God. It doesn't. It doesn't know anything. The Naaman ego mind thinks it should happen this way, it should happen at this time, according to my plan. It should happen the way I envision it. Come on, God, get with my program. To which I say, quit being the general manager of the universe. And quit being the general manager, micromanaging God in your life. It doesn't work. It never has. And God is waiting for us to turn within and listen to the way it's going to be. Listen to how the unfoldment is going to. How has never been up to me. It never has been. My job is to say, I'm really excited, I'm really joyful about this, and I can't wait to see how God is going to do this today, tomorrow, next week. Because spirit intelligence within me knows how to do my life. We've been so scared of our lives not working out the way that we want it to. We've been petrified that our health, our money, our homes, our friends, our loved ones aren't going to be there when we need them. Or something's going to happen and it's all going to fall apart. It's all going to go away. It's irrational, but we still fear these things. You know, a child who suffers from malnutrition eventually loses her appetite totally. After weeks of nothing to eat, the desire for the food finally shuts down. When the food finally does come, they just can't be given food if that has happened. It has to slowly be introduced once again. So to begin the process, the aid worker has to dip her finger in sugar and put it in the child's mouth. If all goes well and the child isn't too far gone, a very interesting thing happens. The child's eyes begin to well up in tears, and the hunger pangs are started again. But not until they are hungry and the body is asking for food can it receive it. Likewise, we've been shut down emotionally and spiritually. We've been so afraid. We've been going without spiritual nourishment for such a long time. We've lost our passion, our enthusiasm, our hunger for the good that God has for us. We've put it so far down and we've sat on it for such a long time, we don't even think it's a reality. We have to get excited about this once again. The dreams haven't died. We've been spiritually malnourished, that's all. We've shut down. We have completely closed everything down and can't even imagine that good showing up. The tears that you have is, if you will, me putting a sugary finger in your mouth. If you're excited by this at all, that means it hasn't died. It means you're excited about your healing happening, about your success happening, about the good in your life finally taking hold. So I invite you this Advent, in preparation for the birth of that Christ energy, that Christ awareness within you, to accept the Christmas gift of faith that God has waiting for you and me to unwrap. Begin with one idea, one affirmation, one longed-for dream not yet realized. Write it out. Print it out on your computer. Put it on your refrigerator. Have it by your bed when you wake up and read it. For example, I accept the divine gift of complete and vibrant health. It's a wonderful affirmation, and it's the truth of who you are. I accept the divine gift of complete and vibrant health. Affirm that with me. I accept the divine gift of complete and vibrant health. Some of you were a little more excited about that than others. I invite you to bump that up a little bit. I accept the gift of abundant financial supply. Together. I accept the gift of abundant financial supply. A little better. I accept the gift of abundant financial supply, like you're going to get it this afternoon. Together. I accept the gift of abundant financial supply. Better. Yes. I have faith that God is bringing my good into my life at this very moment. The affirmations have to be infused with joy and enthusiasm, because without it, it's like an empty car. It might look pretty, but if you don't have any gas, it doesn't go anywhere. I have to be enthusiastic and really passionate about this good, and then the universe believes me. That's the way it works. Do you believe yourself when you're saying this affirmation? I expect good things to happen in my life now. This morning at 10 o'clock, I was saying, we have to get excited, we have to get passionate, and there's a woman yawning and almost falling asleep. It's like, oh, okay, there we go. How excited am I? How excited are you about the good coming forth? Take a breath into your heart. Breathe it out. Have faith. God is here. God is at work. And as we take this within in meditation, let's sing our way into this truth. There's an African tribe that says, singing is praying twice. This opens our soul, our bodies, our minds to receiving the good. Our affirmation song is up here. If you know it, if you want to close your eyes and listen, that's fine too. Closing my eyes. Breathe in. Let go. I had a wonderful teacher once who said, meditation is not completely collapsing on a chair. It's waiting in anticipation of the divine. He recommended sitting a little forward, not letting the back touch the chair. Like a child on Christmas Eve, waiting to hear Santa. It's about knowing that the good is coming forth and being actively alert and aware that God is here, revealing good, revealing what to do and how to do it, when to do it. Meditation is opening communication with the divine within, listening with the intuitive heart for what to do. How joyful am I? How excited am I for my healing? To know that God is the wholeness itself in every cell, every tissue, every fiber, every muscle, every breath I take. God is wholeness itself. In the quiet, I affirm with faith, I accept the divine gift of complete and vibrant health. I accept the divine gift of complete and vibrant health now. We feel that energy moving through us from top of our head to the bottom of our feet. Life is present, surging, renewing, taking care of this body temple perfectly. I also remember that I accept and expect the gift of abundant financial supply. This is the truth of every child of God. I may have believed something different. I may have been taught erroneously the truth of success or unending flow. Today I go to my heart and I hear, you are my child, you are my creation, you are well taken care of. All that you need is here right now. Breathe it in and let it flow. I accept and expect the gift of abundant financial supply now. I have faith that God is bringing into my life at this very moment all that I need for my life to work. Joy, love, freedom, light, guidance, serenity, zeal, enthusiasm, excitement. All the good of God right here, right now. In the quiet of our being, we let go. We let go and we know Infinite Spirit is at work. Breathe it in and let it go. Take a breath. We feel gratitude, joy, And the realization that God has a wonderful life waiting for all of us. Our dreams of success, of joy, of wholeness, of peace of mind is a life waiting for us to say yes to it. Today we say yes. And we watch the blessings flow. For this realization now and always, we are so grateful.